The sun.
Yo, good morning and welcome to another episode of the RoadFS Podcast, where every week we get together to talk to amazing people who are having an impact in their business, suppliers, vendors, and people that just know how to have some fun.
That's right. Before we get started, I've got a couple shout outs. One is we need you to go to YouTube and you need to subscribe to our channel so you have a chance to win this lovely box of Little Wikis.
Lovely box.
Which is some wax from Aaron Knox. It's actually signed on the back. We are number 6. We were really fast on the draw. You don't get the Thug Life keychain, though. I'm keeping that as an earring for myself. So there you go.
It looks good on you, man. So
I know.
I'm telling
Thug
you.
Life,
It
baby.
fits. It fits.
That's right.
It's
So
good.
go out there and subscribe. We're going to give this away in a couple weeks. And today we have one of our favorite people.
Yes, we do.
We have Timothy Mills, and you are in Ohio. Are you actually in Toledo? Is your shop in Toledo?
Yes, I'm on the east side of Toledo. Yes, sir.
That's awesome. Well, let's talk about your business. How did you get started? Let's talk about, because you do a lot of things. You not only have a detailing company, but you also rent a bunch of cars on Turo.
Yeah, that's kind of how I got started in detailing, is because after I bought my house, I was a little more financially set up for my future, and I was looking for different ways to kind of create passive income. And I learned about what Turo was, and I linked up with someone who had about 6 cars at the time, and he was kind of running out of time to clean them. And I had always kind of really taken really good care of my cars, so I was like, hey, I can see what I can do for your cars and see if you like the level of cleaning I can help you achieve. And we ended up growing from 6 to 26 cars in a matter of 11 months, probably 13 months most.
Wow.
So he was able to step back, and I was able to really step in and take care of cleaning the cars, driving the cars around, maintaining the cars, oil changes, little maintenance, stuff like that, running them back and forth to get inspected, because Turo has all their own different type of inspections they have to do, like on a yearly and monthly basis. Anytime there's a check engine light, you have to go get it tested by an ASC certified mechanic. So I kind of built very fast a large network of all these different types of car people, because we had, Audis, Fiats, Jeeps, Chryslers, Dodges, that's the same family, just all these different types of cars that all needed very different levels of maintenance. So I really quickly just jumped into the car world as far as the maintenance level. Also, at the same time, I was working at a factory building Jeeps. So I kind of had kind of a really interesting introduction into the car world, because I've been building them for 5.5 years as well.
Wow.
So there you go. Their chances are, if you're driving a Jeep in the last 6 years, 8 years,
Yep. From 18 to 23, if you're driving a Wrangler from 18 to 23, I probably put in the back left panel. Yep.
There you go.
That's cool.
So that is crazy. And then you started attention to detail. You've come up super fast. I know I see you. We've physically been at several events where you are doing training, but you've really kind of immersed yourself in learning the trade. And then you hooked up with this kind of weird guy, Ryan, which you guys have got this, kind of thing going on, which is cool. And it's actually fun, because a lot of times I think you see, like-minded people and people that are work well together end up being in competition, but you guys are actually helping each other out, and it's really cool to see that. So how many trainings have you been in the last 3 years?
My first training ever was Detail King. That was the first thing I ever did, and that was in December of 22. Actually, it was my very first training program. And I actually only stayed for the first 3 days. They had a 4th day they were going to do with jade ceramic. And I was like, I don't even know what ceramic coatings are. I don't know what that is. That scares me. I'm just doing interior work, because I take care of my own cars. Yeah. And everybody's like, well, why don't you do this? Why are you limiting yourself? And I was like, I don't know. Why? You're right, I guess. Kind of, why am I limiting myself? So, from that one thing at Detail King, they were like, hey, all these other doors can open up. You should go to MTE in Florida, And I had went, like I said, in December, and MTE was in February right then, 2 months later, and that's actually where I met you, Rod, for the first time, was down there. Because
absolutely.
I found out what the International Detailing Association was, and I was told to go volunteer at their booth for 2 hours just to meet people. And from that one day alone, I was terrified. I went there by myself just to figure stuff out. I knew nothing about detailing besides interior work and how to remove stains really, really, really good. I knew nothing about paint correction 2 years ago. And I just kind of grew and figured out who to stick with and what companies are taking over. And, that led me to Angel Wax and then Detailers of the Roundtable. And after the IDA, I just kind of found all these other different companies that offer real products. And I don't really want to use everything behind me. I know all the owners on a personal level. I don't use anything. I can't be like, hey, I have a problem with this. Not that I've had a single problem with anything behind me. Yeah. But the level of customer service that I'm trying to provide is, I'm not going to say unmatched, but there's no one doing the things that I'm capable of trying to do for people, because so many people they get left hanging when it comes to certain things, and people don't explain stuff enough. And you can get real technical with detailing, or you can keep it real simple for people. And I think knowing where your customers lie in between that is very important. And being able to tell people what they actually need versus what you want to make $1 on.
Right. And so one of the things that really impressed me about you at the first training we were at, which is the one in Indianapolis, was that, typically in a training, it kind of goes this way. We see tons of trainings. We go to tons of trainings. We see it. Usually there's people that are just really hands-on and get in there, and then usually somebody that's hanging back. Usually somebody has to be prompted. You are not the guy that hangs back.
Definitely not.
You're right there. I mean, you're going at it. And I think knowing your background, knowing at this point that 2 years ago you didn't know a lot about paint correction, and the fact that we were working on some pretty high-end cars. I mean, there was a Lexus, a BMW. We worked on a really nice boat. Just kind of get into that with that confidence that you went into is amazing to me. But I think that just kind of, from my experience, that's just you, right? If you see something you want to go do, you're going to go do it, and you're going to get your hands dirty and go into it. So that's a short trip for a lot of stuff. I mean, wow. Hey, Mr. Richard Hutchins. Hey, big shout out to Richard.
How you doing?
Richard got injured this morning, so hope you're feeling better, Richard. He's got a big old
knot on his head.
What it is he saw my head and he was jealous of all the cool scars.
Was it too shiny?
Yeah. He saw all the cool scars, and he knows that that's something that he needed to have a better story. So now you got a hell of a story, Richard, and I hope you feel better.
Well, and we also need to give a shout out to the weird one, Ryan Griggs.
Yeah, so definitely.
Congrats to him and his family. They got a new baby, and so the Griggs family is growing. Congrats to you and the family. Hopefully that baby's doing well. The mama's doing well. And Ryan is one of my favorite.
The dad's not doing very good. So
no, well, he wasn't before, but the baby's at least already barbecuing. I've noticed that.
Cooking full dinners. Yep.
That's awesome.
Put him right to work. Let's get him on it, man.
So let's talk about your short journey. I mean, I watch you and I think about your journey from going to detailing Turo cars to having your own thriving Turo business to then now, being a really polished detailer. I mean, you've really invested in yourself. You've dedicated yourself to really escalating your game. You have a real gift for talking to people, and I'm sure that builds a lot of confidence with your customers. So what have you kind of learned along the way that you think would be helpful for other business owners in or around the same time frame that you are in?
One thing definitely is don't be scared. I limited myself probably for my first 8 months to a year, and I was like, I'm only going to do interiors. I'll do a really good wash. Like I was barely even doing exterior details because knowing what I knew about paint correction, it was like, I'm not just going to clay bar it and not polish it. You can't do more damage and expect people to pay you more for you doing more damage. You can't do certain things. So some of the job, my first ever job out of high school, I was a dental assistant. So that was a very, very technical job at a very, very young age. And I started those classes when I was a junior in high school. So starting off, everything I did was very surgical, very precise. Everything had a very standard operating procedure. So those terms that we use every day to kind of, some people are only just now starting to familiarize themselves with when they get a business. They're like, oh, now I need a standard operating procedure. Every job I've ever had kind of always had one in place I had to follow. So everywhere I go in life, naturally, yes, there's a right way and a wrong way, and there's kind of the Tim way, but the Tim way is always kind of be more or less the way that the book would tell you to do it anyway, because I'm going to go by the book because someone wrote the book and that's the right way to do it. So why would you try to shortchange it and do it a different way? It's not intended to be done. I don't agree with that at all. So that's why I've jumped into all the trainings, and I'm like, okay, I want to figure out how to do that exactly from who made it to how they sell it everywhere. I need to know every aspect, because I'm not going to be out here, and I also ran a gas station on a very busy corner in my town. So customer service was a very big thing to me, and how to take people from red hot to, pleased in a matter of 45 seconds. And, you just have to know how to read people and take care of their chief complaint and not oversell them.
Yeah. And I think that's, there's a lot of people that critique trainings. I see a lot of this, typical detailer bashing of this training or that training. And I think the key is, for me, after this many years of going through all these trainings, is I pick something up at every single training.
Right.
Every single one of them.
Every training that's offered. You guys have been to hundreds.
And the thing about it is I pick something up, and it's always something that I go, oh man, I never thought about that. So there's always something that somebody can show you, the procedure or whatever. Jason Rose, this last training we were at doing helicopters, talking about something that for years I just totally ignored, and that was the time that you're actually working the polish. Polishes have an actual time that the engineers have put into where that is diminished, and you're no longer helping, you're hurting. Yeah,
your diminishing abrasives will diminish, and then you're just wasting time, energy, wear and tear on your machine, pad strength, heat flexing, all that. Yep.
Well, and I like what you said there. I'm going to learn the way they recommend you do it, right? That requires you to go to a training, whether it's RoadFS, Angel Wax, PNS, whatever brand, IGL, that you're going there with the intent to go, all right, they have chemists and geniuses behind them that are designing this to work in a way that they want, with the polishes, with the pads, and in some scenarios like RoadFS, it's a complete system, right? And so I think a lot of times we get so engrossed in the way that we've always done it, that we bring that into a training, and we're not open to learning something new, especially in the way that they've designed it to work to help you be more efficient and more profitable.
Right. Because as many trainings as I've been to, not only can everybody learn something, but even the trainers will be like, hey, wait, what'd you say? Say that again, because that just made sense to me in a way. And there's people that have been in the business 20, 30, 40 years I've taken classes from, and, they're still learning things, or someone from this company is, now a member of the detailers of the roundtable, and, they've been doing this company for 15 years, but they're going to get certified in IGL just because they know that it's a good product, and they might, we're being a lot more transparent these days. A lot of people are using a lot more products, and that is okay. It's okay to wear Nike with Reebok. I don't care what your friends say. I do it every day.
That is an area that you should take advice from Tim, because something's always matching, right? So, and by the way, my daughters, as soon as they saw your last nails, they're like, that's Lisa Frank. They knew. They were right.
Yep, those were Lisa Frank, yep. And then today it is little koi fish.
Oh, yeah.
Because what they say in Finding Nemo, just keep swimming.
That's right.
No matter what happens, just keep swimming. So that's
right.
my life.
There you go, Richard. Richard's got koi fish, so there you go.
That's amazing. And I love that you're so unabashedly you, right? I think a lot of times people are uncomfortable in their own skin. They think that they have to put on this persona instead of just being you. And when you figure out a way to be authentically you, you connect with the people that resonate with you. You attract the clients and customers that resonate with you. You connect with people on a completely different level. So talk about being unabashedly you, because it really is fun.
Well, I mean, especially, I'm not going to, as soon as I walk in a room, like, if I'm uncomfortable, I'm going to start laughing or something. Like, I'm the type of person that I can, like, read a room like that. So, like, if I walk up to you and you feel uncomfortable, I'm probably going to stop talking to you, you know? Like, you have to know how to approach people and, you know, don't be all crazy up in everybody's face immediately. You know, start slow, figure out what people care about, figure out their views, and then maybe if they don't understand something, you know, explain it to them in a way that they can understand. Just like you were saying about being yourself. I have a friend, have you guys ever heard of BNI, the business networking group?
Yes.
Well, I actually just joined the chapter officially this morning. We meet every Thursday at 8 a.m. at a local coffee shop. And I had a one-on-one with a friend the other day, and you know, he's got tattoos and he sells insurance. And sometimes he's kind of, you know, really wary about wearing long sleeve versus short sleeves. And, you know, some people have such a mindset that, you know, tattoos means this, or if you dress a certain way, it means that. And, you know, as soon as I go to meet somebody, I shake my hand. How you doing? You know, if this makes you uncomfortable, then I don't know.
Well, and I think that's, you know, that's one of those things where a lot of people want to fall into a specific box, and when something does not fit in that box, they have a real problem with it. And you know, I try to help people understand, and then they have their own opinion. It's not like they have to be, you know, I like certain brands of things. If you don't like them, that's fine. You know, I don't care. It's no,
everyone's opinion is valid, and everyone's feelings are valid, but you can't, you know, talk over people. And just because I don't like the fact that this person has a Cadillac and, you know, maybe a Kia Rio is easier to detail, you know, I don't care. Everybody gets a detail. Everything still starts at $165 in my shop. It doesn't matter. You know, the only add-on is dog hair and vomit. Like,
I don't put
standard.
I won't put dog hair and vomit in a car. I try to, if I'm going to vomit, I do it outside the car. That way it doesn't.
Well, hold on. We got to read this. Tim's in a box. It's a fabulous box. Pride, Unicorn, Rainbow, Maine. Pride, Unicorn, Rainbow, Maine. Pride, Unicorn, Rainbow, Maine.
There was probably supposed to be an image that backfired.
It probably was, but that's fabulous. And I think that's the big thing is that, you know, they're a little bit afraid. People are afraid when they see something they don't understand. When they see you come in and you've got koi fish on your nails, or you've got the ones that were Halloween,
yellow and
Halloween.
That's the biggest thing, is it's people don't understand it, and I don't really need to understand why your arm is full of dragon tattoos for you to do my taxes.
Right.
I don't care. Yeah. I care about the wall of certifications behind you that you got from Ohio State University that says you know how to do taxes.
Right.
I don't care if you have tattoos covering your whole face. If you know how to take care of my car or my boat, I'm going to hire you. Some of that mindset that some of these people have, and like I said, that's totally fine. That's their point of view. They're right to have it. But as soon as you know certain stuff about certain types of people like that, you don't have to do business with those types of people. Yeah. There is hundreds of businesses that exist in this world. You know, even my business with the name Attention to Detail, there's like 100 businesses named Attention to Detail. That's why I added luxury automotive services to mine for tax purposes, because, you know, you can only get so creative with the word detail in this world. So, you know, there's no reason to worry about certain stuff when it comes to business, because if you're serious about business, then you're serious about business, and personal things like that won't even matter at all.
Right. And I think that's just that thing where they feel uncomfortable. They don't know what it's all about. People have a prejudgment, okay? And it's okay to have a prejudgment,
Yeah.
But it's when you meet
sure.
somebody, and they go against that, but you still judge them, that's when it becomes prejudice. And that is a dangerous thing. Prejudgment's not a bad thing. People see me and they're like, oh, it's an old, bald, fat guy. Right, I am. But then when you meet me and you see how awesome I am.
You look like you sell insurance, not software.
That's right.
I'm like, what? You know how to use a computer?
So I think that's the key, is just to keep it real and just have an open mind for things, because there's so many people that I've met in the detailing industry that you would never, ever guess work on certain types of things and work on cars or don't work on cars. You see some of these guys at the shows and you'll see this giant bearded, burly, tattooed dude with, works out 5 times a day, and little teeny tiny woman next to him, and you're like, oh, you detail, and he's like, no, she does. So you gotta put in your mind that get rid of all those preconceived notions, because
he's like an investment banker or something. Like
he's
totally boring.
Yeah, I made my millions in the stock market and then got out.
Right. Like, now he's retired at 29.
Right. Yep. So I think people just need to chill out. Let's just put it that way. And this is a great month. I love June because there's so many things that people just completely freak out about, like colors and things that
You mean the rainbow?
I do mean the rainbow, and I think people look into it. In fact, there's an article on the IDA's website that I wrote about Pride Month. So everybody go out to the IDA's website, look at the article on Pride Month, and just educate yourself. So there's no.
Well, and I appreciate my daughter. She's like, yeah, June's my month. I'm like, she goes, I got Pride and Juneteenth. I'm like, well,
exactly.
That's good, right? So, but yeah, no, I just giant burly. That must be Steve Persia. Yeah, if he was a little taller, he's like a midget like me. I love Steve Persia. He's one of the best. So, anyway, that's awesome.
Yep. Oh, that's awesome. So yes. People, educate yourself. I think that's the same thing. We do that with everything. If a new polisher comes out tomorrow and it's completely different,
right? What do you have?
You're going to educate yourself.
On it and
Paint,
figure out
you're going to educate
how it works.
Yeah.
Right.
Here's my thing on it, right? So, I've had a lot of conversations with a lot of different people this month, right? And I always go back to my wife's statement. She goes, just lead with love. You don't have to understand. You don't have to know the entire backstory. You don't have to completely agree, but you can always love and treat each other with respect, kindness, and deference. That's all. Just
right.
lead with love, right?
Right. And if you can't understand that, then just don't be a douche. Just don't be a douche.
You don't be a douche, right? That should be the Pride Month slogan for real.
That's my logo. That's mine.
That's
like,
right.
Don't be a douche. It's like, when you're doing it. My daughter always says, don't be a douche. When you're being a douche, just stop doing it.
Yeah.
So, this industry is so fabulous because stuff changes constantly. And as things change, as boats change and paint changes and clear coats change, we're going to have to learn new ways. And I think that's just kind of a metaphor for life. You've got to learn new ways. I was literally smacked in the face with this the other day. My wife, we traded in our car. She got a new car. It's a Subaru, which I've never owned before, but Subaru. I measured the thickness.
Wait, Elmo Fudd?
I'm Elmo Fudd. Would you like a coating? I measured the paint thickness before I put a coating on it, and it was 4.98 mils from the factory, never washed. 4.98. It's water-based paint. So does that mean
Where'd you measure it? Sorry.
All over.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So does that mean that it's 4.9 mils of paint, or does that mean that it's 4.99 mils of clear? We don't know unless we do some real damage to that car. So be careful and educate yourself.
It's base.
So there you go. So what is the future for Tim? What do you got going on, like, coming up?
The next thing that I have on my schedule is to go to Nathan Warren's shop for the next big giant details of the roundtable training.
Yep.
I am currently CDSV through the IDA, and I still have a lot to learn, obviously, but I would like to get my I don't know if I'm going to do them both at the same time and overload myself, because that's another thing you don't want to do, is do one thing at a time. I mean, a lot of people see me go to all these trainings and they're like, oh, you must be bouncing all over the walls. Not really. I look these people up. I have long conversations with them before. Some of them you even have to be like, I'm not going to say any names because I'm just keeping it confidential, because you'll go through the process if you take those classes. But some of them, they actually look you up and see like how far you've progressed and see what you're doing to see if you're a right fit for the class. That's actually, it's a standard at RoadFS. Sometimes they look you up because some of the classes they offer are standing classes that are advanced or, super advanced or super duper duper advanced, and there's really no reason to go take some of those classes if you're not at that level, because you'll be wasting your own time being in over your head, and you won't be ready to even know what they're talking about because they're just doing things you're not ready for. So
Right.
all the classes I took, I definitely looked up. First was interior, then was exterior, then was paint correction, then was ceramic coatings, and then I was like, oh, okay, what's details of the round table? Now I understand what that is. But the next training, like I said, is the one that Nathan Warren shops. So I think I'm just going to go for boats at the moment, because I've done a handful of bikes and a number of bikes. But as you can see behind me,
Yeah.
boats is where it's at the moment. So there's also a lot of marinas around where I live.
Wow. Wow.
Subaru. There's a lot of marinas around where I live. So a lot of people like store their boats like in a lot of big like barns around here, and they're heated. So there's a lot of different access to where I could have, work on them in the wintertime. So I think boats would be the next class where I would be the next, do my WC for watercraft would be where I'd want to go next for sure.
Yeah. And I think that is, so a couple things. One, yes, absolutely. Do your research before you go to a training, because I know a lot of people that do as many more trainings than you do.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
But I think you can burn out from that too, but you've got to look into it and see what you're doing. I mean, like as far as RoadFS goes, they do look you up. I was on probation for a year and a half. I wasn't even allowed to go in the building.
I believe it.
But there's some great trainings, but you gotta start with step one, right? You can't go, okay, I don't know anything about paint correction, I'm gonna go into sanding. Oh, time out. You got to start with square one. So that's a good one to give people as far as advice goes. Yes,
Right.
July 12th, 13th, 14th.
That's it. 11, 12, 13, 14, something like that.
That is the training with Nathan Warren.
The next detail.
There's so much going on that week, because what is it, like the 9th, 10th, and 11th is like the beginning of the Apex, and then like the 12th, 13th, 14th is the IDA stuff. So that's a giant week that Nathan Warren's having at his shop and hosting PPF training, boat training, motorcycle training, IDA testing, all kinds of stuff's going on that week.
Yeah, and then the next one after that is in August. The first through the 4th is at Tate and Trout's, and it is actually going to be our detailers at roundtable training, and then IGL is going to do an Aegis training tagged onto that. So the detailers of the roundtable trainings are starting to get really big, and a lot of add-ons.
Yeah.
So go check those out. If you are in the Indianapolis area, it's in July. If you are on the other side of the country over here, you're going to Tate and Trout's in Colorado, and RoadFS and Flex are going to be at the same training for the first time ever in history.
Yeah, it's going to be cool. So, and I will not be at the Indianapolis training. I will be at Juan Gonzalez's training. It's exact same days. It'll be in Idaho Falls. It's all in Spanish. So he's invited me to go over there and participate in that event. So
I'll be in Indy.
Rod and I are splitting forces.
Oh, you're going? Awesome.
Oh yeah, I'll be there for sure.
Rod will be there. I will be elsewhere. So if you don't see one of us, it's because we're probably split.
We're splitting efforts.
We're
splitting efforts because we're going all over the world. Literally, we're going to Holland this year. We're going to be in Canada in a week.
Next week we're in Canada.
We are just trying to expose everybody to as many different types of trainings that are available in the whole world. So yeah, Canadian's a little easier for me to deal with than Spanish. So,
and to that point we were talking to before, don't get overwhelmed with trainings, but keep your eyes open, because you can take 4, 5, or 6 trainings, and now I've taken, like I said, probably about 7 which equaled about 13 or more certifications because some are dual. But I'm really liking boats at the moment.
Yeah.
So like that's kind of where I want to go. I'm not going to give up on cars. All my clients watching, I'm not giving up on your SUVs or nothing. But as far as like where I really want to go, I definitely also just started to teach myself tinting in the background as well. So there's different niche markets you can get into. But like interior boat cleaning and interior protective coatings is really kind of cool. A lot of people are really interested in that. It'd be really cool to get with clients, when their boat is brand new to them or when they just buy it from the dealership, so that we can minimize that first couple years of damage when, that's my least favorite thing to hear from everybody. I'm sure all my detailers can agree. Oh, my car is brand new. It doesn't need anything. Yes, it does. That's when it needs the most.
Yeah, the Subaru was a mess.
Right, that's when your paint is the softest from the manufacturer, because, like I said, I used to work in a manufacturing position, and I see some of the things that happen. If anyone's ever taken a sanding class from Jason Rose himself, he'll teach you. There's more than 5, but he'll teach you the 5 biggest ways your car can be damaged before you even have a chance to look at it on the car lot floor. And I added to his list about 27 other things, because it's like in production, it passes by 3,000 people that work on it. And, sometimes people wear stuff like buttons on their shirt they shouldn't, and there's little tiny things that are damaged. And, if those things aren't treated properly, all of us detailers know oxidation starts, rust starts, and those are chemical processes you cannot reverse. We can spray Aegis, we can spray Angel Wax industrial coating and rust protection. We have all these things that us detailers have at our disposal, like all these things behind us. But if you don't do that initial protection, then chemical processes will start, and there's no reversing it. You need to go to the body shop across here for a full respray.
Oh yeah, for sure. And that's what when I was doing my just doing this paint correction and coating that I did.
Brand new car, right?
Brand new car. I showed my daughter like 3 or 4 paint defects, and she's like, "Are you kidding me?" I'm like, "No, this is a defect in the paint, and it's good enough. There's a certain allowable tolerance with orange peel, or if it's got something that happened at the factory and there's a little nick, they're going to touch it up, but." Especially like with this out, it's a waterborne paint. Obviously, the clear coat's not waterborne, or you'd wash it away. But so there's something that happened, but that opens up that chemical bond and allows it to have a potential for some corrosion. So get the coating on there, take care of it, do those things on it, and it'll last a lot longer.
Right, or at least wash it regularly if you're not going to get a coating. At least get on a maintenance package with your local detailer, so that you can stop the processes from happening as fast as you would by just because there's we can talk all day about the ways your car can get damaged, but there's so many ways that it can, and they're irreversible. There's only ways that we can treat them. We're not doctors. We can't cure diseases. we can only treat the scratches in little ways, or else you got to go to a body shop for full respray. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep, which is what Richard Hutchins is doing, is at the body shop getting a little Bondo put on the top of his little
Bondo
noodle.
on the head. So
a little Bondo on the top.
Bondo on the top there. Smooth it out.
So I want to give a shout out to Jamie Gonzalez, Born Detailers TV. Go check out Jamie Gonzalez and Chad Soker every week. They have a great episode. It's almost as good as the RoadFS podcast. Just kidding. No, they're an awesome duo, and they're talking about everything that detailers. Very real applications and tools and compounds and business too. So I recommend you go give them a shout out. Also, make sure that you go subscribe to the RoadFS podcast because
you're going to win stuff, and not only that, but it's just the right thing to do. It takes like 2 seconds. You go subscribe, and that's it. You just subscribe, done. That's it, and you got a chance to win some awesome wax. Jody and I literally, this is no joke, we have given away tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of stuff for people that subscribe to the RoadFS podcast.
Yeah,
so
we gave a whole year away of buff and shine
year
pads.
We gave away thousands of dollars worth of pads, T-shirts, and I don't even know.
I don't know.
Literally
It was
don't
a
know how
lot.
many polishers we've given away. So
And
go
people might not even believe you, but you guys have the longest running detail podcast that exists. So
That's
do.
right.
We do.
2019, baby.
we have over 600 episodes out there. So you're never going to get tired of seeing my dumb ass. So
Well, you may.
You may, but that's fine.
I offset
as
it.
many as Law and
Welcome to
Order.
the show.
That's right. That's right.
So anyway, any last kind of tidbits that you think are helpful to detail business owners?
Okay, this is hilarious. So Tayton, the reason why he says this is because when you go to MTE, when you go to all these shows, there's so much free stuff to get, and we stayed at the same house, and I came back with like bags of stuff. But what he doesn't know is I did actually buy a lot of stuff, but I kept telling him that everything I got was free. So this is like an inside joke with myself I had with him. A lot of that stuff I did have to pay for.
That's lovely.
That's
I
fine.
just kept telling him. I mean, a lot of it was free. Don't get me wrong, but it was just sample size stuff. But I was telling him like full size bottles were free.
Yeah. Well, and by the way, I've watched Tayton get some stuff for free
that's
too.
funny,
So don't
yeah.
let him fool
Yeah,
you.
he won a beast machine polisher the first day I met him. So I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, I don't want to hear it either.
Yeah.
So anyway,
All right,
Well,
Timothy. Well, we're going to see you in a couple of almost
God.
exactly a month. Just about exactly 1 month till the Indy,
Yeah.
a little bit before. Jody will be again in Idaho Falls doing his Spanish stuff with Juan Gonzalez.
Gonzalez. I tell
And,
you, man, the
man.
Spanish opportunities are exploding, and my mind's been exploding. I'm really trying to elevate my game as a Spanish speaker. I do have to thank Rigo and Juan Gonzalez for inviting me, Luis Perez and Yuri from the Expo Detail Mexico. Man, we had a great episode on Tuesday. So if you speak Spanish, go out to YouTube. There's a almost 45-minute episode all in Spanish dedicated to Expo Detail Mexico and elevating the detailers in Latin America. So I invite you to go do that. And man, if you guys are in the area of Toledo and you need an excellent detailer, you have to connect with our friend Tim. He's absolutely amazing. And I love what Ryan said. Tim is helping me grow my business and set SOP. He is a huge asset to our industry and a breath of fresh air with his spirit and drive. And I would 100% agree with that. So
That's right. So
Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Thanks for just being you. You know, it's absolutely refreshing to see somebody that really doesn't give a shit what anybody else thinks about him. And I appreciate that. So be more like Tim. So anyway, we'll see you guys next week. Actually, next week we'll be in Canada.
Yeah, we'll be live.
So we'll be live in Canada. I'm going to work on my Canadian.
Canada.
How's it going, eh?
Yeah, so we'll be at Palo Asunto's shop, Owner's Pride in Edmonton. Richard Hutchins from Leather Repair Company will be there. It's going to be a great class. I know that the detail kid and his dad are going to be there. So it's going to be awesome. So.
Yeah. And hopefully Richard won't have like a Bondo yarmulke on from the injuries.
Bondo yarmulke.
I'm gonna patent that, a Bondo yarmulke.
That's awesome. I love that.
For all of our
I wonder
Jewish
if we
friends
can
out
sell.
there,
I wonder if we
Bondo
can
yarmulke.
sell that for Jewish detailers.
Oh, you could, man. You could custom paint it. You could airbrush it and everything.
That's a good idea.
You heard it here first, folks.
So we get all the royalties.
That's right. That's right. All right, guys. Thank you, Tim. Appreciate you.
You're welcome, guys. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Have a good day. Talk
have
to you
a
later.
great day.
Thank you.
See ya.